Hello everyone. Today's session is about Gladinet Cloud Enterprise and its server agent. The Gladinet Cloud Enterprise is a file sync and share solution, and then most of the time it's installed in a data center. So for this one, we're going to be installing the Service Provider Edition, so it's multi-tenant. And we will select the all-in-one installation, so it's going to install the SQL Server Express for us. So the whole process from beginning to end, including the installation and also the initial configuration, is going to be about 20 minutes. But for the video purpose, we don't want to make it that long, so we make the video shorter to be under maybe 5 minutes. And so here's the installation experience. Typically, you are just going to get a Windows Server 2012 R2. You can even use Windows Server 2008 R2, but since the 2012 R2 is on the market, so we would recommend using Server 2012 R2 as the Gladinet Cloud Enterprise. So you would install it in the data center. So that will be your access point of the file sync and share solution. And you're going to give it, it's based on IIS and the Microsoft stack, and so you can give it a public DNS name, a SSL certificate, and then it can allow access to it, over the internet from the mobile client, from the desktop client. So it becomes a sync and share solution, files, solution, collaboration solution. So now it's almost done with the installation experience. So as a summary, the installation experience is like one click or maybe a couple clicks through the web interface. It's going to pull in all the dependency components like the .NET, the SQL Server, and everything. So you don't need to do any kind of prerequisite setup. It's just going to sit back, and it's going to guide you through all the installation process. So at the end of it, a reboot is required. So we're just going to reboot, and then we're done with the installation part. So now the reboot is happening, and now we are entering into the initial setup of the Gladinet Cloud Enterprise. So it's a file sync and share solution. The most important part will be, let's say, do you want to use Active Directory? You don't have to, but you can. And where's the storage location? So now let's create a default admin account. So this admin user, we recommend not have any kind of Active Directory connection, because as an admin, you need to set up Active Directory later on. So you want to have like circle dependency. For the storage, you can select local storage, or you can select use cloud storage. So for the demonstration, we're going to just be using the simplest form of local storage, like a folder on the C drive. But if, let's say, you're installing this in Amazon, you can use, like, select the other radio button and then use cloud storage, like Amazon S3. If you install this in Microsoft Azure, you can select Azure Blob Storage. So there's multiple storage options you can use. But for this demonstration, we're just going to be using the storage from the C drive. So there you go. It's done. It's pretty simple, right? So you just click some buttons and reboot, and then the solution is ready for use. So here's the initial screen. You saw the multi-tenant screen, and then you are the very first tenant yourself. So you come in and let's create a folder just to play with it. And so there you go. The solution is all set up and ready to go. And then as a default admin, you are also the admin for the very first tenant. So we recommend, if you are using a multi-tenant solution, you be the very first tenant, so you can kind of eat your own dog food, right? If you want to provide this to your customers, and so you at least know which is where and how to use the solution. So that's it. You see it marks 19 minutes, right? So 19 minutes, it can go from all the way from beginning to end. So now let's go over to a remote file server. So let's assume this file server is away from the Gladinet Cloud Enterprise. So let's say that if the Gladinet Cloud Enterprise was installed in a data center, and then let's say this file server is in the building. So you don't need to do too much, like the firewall and everything. You can just don't even need to touch, and because all the communication is going to be over the HTTPS port or HTTP if you haven't got the HTTPS set up, so they can talk over the regular port and then traverse the firewall that way. So the file server agent can talk to the Gladinet Cloud Enterprise. And let's say if your file server is sitting next to the Gladinet Cloud Enterprise in a local area network, you don't have to use the server agent at all, right? Because you can use, when they're both in the local area network, you can use direct network share protocol to talk to each other. But let's say if the file server is over the internet, then you have to use a server agent to help you traverse the firewall and convert the Active Directory calls and convert the file server calls into a remote protocol that can be proxied over the HTTPS protocol. So now the server agent has been set up, and then it's rebooting. So as you can see on the Gladinet Cloud Enterprise, we used Windows 2012, and then on the file server agent, we use 2008 box. So just to show you the little bit of differences to so you kind of see that there are two machines involved in here. So now, upon the restart, the very first thing is to connect to the Gladinet Cloud Enterprise, right? So even though it's called a server agent, but in the eyes of the Gladinet Cloud Enterprise, it's a client tier, right? So in the client server architecture, so the server agent is a client tier. So let's see what you can do. So let's say we create a folder, test folder locally. Let's call it test folder 1. And then we just put some new documents into it as a test document. So we have a test folder, we have a test document, and in a traditional sense, this folder and this file is local to this server agent, and it's not easy to access this file, this folder and this file from other places, right? But it's not going to be a limitation anymore with the server agent and with the Gladinet Cloud Enterprise file sync and share solution. So we just attach that folder to the cloud. And once we attach that folder to the cloud, let's see what happens. So we're going to connect to the Gladinet Cloud Enterprise portal. So let's see what happens next. So this is the multi-tenant portal, and then now let's go to our files and folders view. So you can see this test folder showing up from that specific file server, and then that test file shows up as well. So it's a two-way synchronization from the file server agent from a remote location to, and then it's available to all the devices connected to the Gladinet Cloud Enterprise. Thank you.